All right. Here we go in the morning, getting ready to go. Oh, yes. Good morning. Happy Wednesday to you. Come on. Here we go, getting everybody in that place. Get together. All right now. Chip, you ready?
Nothing's wrong.
All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. So glad you could join us. It's nice to be here. It's nice to gather with you in the mornings without all the pressure and the pain of knowing that I'm going to have to stare for at length videos of former people who used to do former jobs and the Bongino Tuckers of the world. It's just, obviously we do see some of that, but not nearly as much in the morning. It's more of a relaxed hang. This is Hal Sparks Mornings, Megaworldwide, and how dare I say that? Well, we've got viewers from all over the world every single time I do this, and so I think it qualifies, quite frankly. I just do. And as I continue to do the show and the reach expands, that seems to be increasingly the case. And therefore, I welcome everybody. Hi, good morning. How are you? Good morning, fellow Sparksists. Yes, the Sparksist Megafesto is in good order. I've been working on it, just so you know. I'm drinking a BCAA, a branch chain amino acid beverage this morning to recover from booty work I did yesterday at the gym, which caught up with me this morning. Ooh, it was fun getting out of bed. That was a lot. I was doing jump squats with a kettlebell, and now my booty needs some aminos to get it shaking in the morning. Yeah, it's space juice. It's Motang. This is my new, yes, it's the new beverage. Try. Where can you buy it?
Michigan gave us Motang.
That's right. If you need Motang, that's where you get it. My dad is recovering. My stepmom has tested positive as well because their entire life revolves around each other. So they're both double vaxxed. My dad is the one with the more concerning health issues, but he seems to be doing okay. We'll piece by piece. He's a tough old bird, and luckily, over the course of his life, has treated his lungs like shit for so long that they don't tend to overreact the way they do in some people who get COVID. So, thanks. I'm glad you like my hair. It's freshly washed. So, yeah. Washed, towel dried, a little bit of mousse and a blow dry, and I'm ready to go. It takes all of 7 minutes. But yeah, they're doing okay. I'm keeping tabs on them daily. I'm annoying him, I'm sure, with my text messages. How you feeling? How you feeling? How you feeling? He's like, we're fine. So, yes, Chip is awake. He's running around. He's attacking the curtains right now. But believe me, he will at some point decide that I am talking to someone he wants to meet, because I've determined that is part of it. If I'm on the phone or something, he wants to come in and see, like, excuse me, I have a couple of things to say. Yeah, the hair has volume today. It's good. Yeah. It's got some real poof to it. Get my 80s layers on, people. It's good. I do too, Lolima. Thank you. I appreciate the prayers from my folks. I'm doing that daily. So, internet news sites, Twitter, Twitch, already bad-mouthing Biden, saying Bill's 90% failed. True? No, of course not. And the worst thing a progressive can do right now, like a dyed-in-the-wool hyper lefty progressive can do, is give Biden credit for getting any of this stuff done, because he ran as a centrist, he won as a centrist, he's governing as a centrist. And if he gets a bunch of progressive priorities through because he's balancing, the things that would be good for the country and getting those through, and some of their stuff gets stiff-armed because they can't make it through everybody's vote, they're going to blame him instead of they were unable to sell their ideas. They want too much money for their ideas. They're unproved ideas, and they want funded unproved ideas to get pushed through. And that's, ask any congressperson or senator what that process is like. Happens all the time. So no, I'm not concerned at all. I also know that Biden's numbers spring of next year are going to rebound so strongly that it will annoy everyone, especially Glenn Beck. Now, somebody was bringing up that Facebook is changing their name to, I think they're just changing it to the Russian pronunciation, right? And granted, Facebook does have a bit of it does sound like an old name for it. I mean, Twitter, for what it does, sounds too cute by half for what actually happens on there. You know what I mean? It's like if you went to a bird sanctuary and you were just walking around in it and it was all vultures. Festbachen, yeah. The Saudis have a stake in Facebook. Of course they do. They have a stake in a lot of stuff. They have $1 trillion in our stock market. That's one of the reasons why every president goes over there and tips the hat. It has nothing to do with oil. Glenn Beck is Beckistan. Who's Beckistan? They're putting Facebook, WhatsApp, Messenger, Oculus under an umbrella. Yeah, well, they are under an umbrella. They're putting them under a name umbrella. I think it's Metaverse, right? That's the thing they just hired a bunch of programmers to work on, and everybody's going to do it's going to be sort of a mix of VR and social networking, which will just have another layer of scary. Yes, Metaverse, I'm getting a new branded shirt, right? Glenn Biscuit. Thanks, Mandy. I appreciate that. Appreciate all the love to my family as well. And my dad just got his flu shot too, so God knows he's probably got it at a pharmacy where the people inside were treating their COVID symptoms with horse paste and diuretics. Zuckerberg had to wave his car door open for him. Oh, wait to have his car door open for him. I don't know. Here's the thing. So many, there's so many rich people and tech people that have all sorts of weird social issues, especially in the tech world. And they can cause it. The other thing I don't think people recognize about people who live in a bubble, and you can see this, it plays out really big in like Michael Jackson, Britney Spears, and people like that. And I suppose to some degree the royal family, is that living in and out of that bubble and growing up within it or experiencing it at all can mess with you. It's a very weird experience. I mean, look at the number of like germaphobe celebrities, allegedly Howie Mandel, Roseanne Barr, Trump supposedly, that's what he says. I would argue that a lot of those folks, the first time you shake hands with someone and you pull your hand back and you glance at your hand and the person's got a giant wart right here on their hand, all of a sudden, you can develop an issue overnight. What do you mean what happened to my hair? This is what my hair looks like. How I wish you wouldn't say negative things about Facebook because you have a lot of listeners on it. That's not my problem with the people using Facebook. My problem is with the organization. It's precisely, let's see. Yeah, Anita on Facebook. It is precisely the same thing that happens in my conversations about China. I have a great love and respect and in some cases fear for the Chinese people. And when I talk about the Chinese government, I separate those two in my mind. And some people might think they overlap and they do not. The same thing is true of Facebook. A lot of people use Facebook. A lot of people enjoy Facebook. The problem is what Facebook does with their use and their enjoyment. Excuse me. Social media is a blessing and curse depending on who uses and controls it. Precisely. I mean, and the users themselves, how wisely they use it. I mean, there are people. I was watching this thing on the anti-vaxxer gathering that was in Hollywood. And they were talking about how by being knocked off of Twitter and YouTube and like, they are just like Jews round up by the Nazis because they are being put in information gulags because they're not allowed. And it's the same thing. Like the grotesque distortion of reality and like self-involved pity fest that was going on is disgusting. It's amazing when you watch it live. I still have stats to spend on... stars? Yeah, you still have stars to spend? Well, I appreciate that. Yes, you can spend the stars on this show. And it is, by the way, it's one of the reasons why I still have my show on Facebook, even though I have issues with how Zuckerberg runs it or the overall, quality of how they run it. It definitely has... It reaches a lot of people. It serves a purpose. And if all the good people get off there and leave it to essentially just the wolves, it's counterproductive. So I don't have a problem with, if I find out one day that they're involved in, in death squads in South America and they've, basically set them loose to protect, I don't know, cell towers or some nonsense to protect their market share, and then we're talking. But if it's about information I can or can't, avoid, then that's my responsibility. Did I get a booster shot? No, I have not gotten a booster shot yet. I wouldn't rule it out, but can a Patreon account have podcasts with chat? No, you have to do it on another source. They don't have an internal thing on there. It's not that kind of a carrier. It's much like it's sort of like Kickstarter. You do all the other stuff everywhere else. Facebook, the company, is merely a tool. It's the users who either use it properly, not properly, or try to exploit it. Well, Scott, who's on Facebook, that's partially true. But also Facebook hides some of their, selling of users' private information. That would be something the company does. That's against the users. Is not the fault of the users. And then, of course, allowing Russia to buy political ads in rubles on Facebook during an election cycle, which they did in 2016. That's of a different scale. And again, has nothing to do with the users. That's the money-making people at the top saying, valuing the advertising end of it, because it's, in many ways, there is a split in Facebook between the programmers or the people who work on it or, get a job in kind of the maintenance level jobs at Facebook. And then there's the people who run it who really look at it as an advertising aggregate. How do you, our goal is to scoop all these people into advertising categories and feed them to advertisers who can make money off them. That's the business model of Facebook now and has been for the last decade. Which is, that's what you got to deal with. That's part and parcel. If you're going to use a free service, advertising is what's going to pay for that. I don't know how many servers does Facebook run? Whoops, it's the wrong one. Sorry, I'm typing in the wrong field again. Maybe somebody works with Facebook and knows how many. And this is just to connect it all. Okay. So data center knowledge. Here we go. Go away. Continue to site. And this is, that's 2009. 2018, 2014. That's like. Yeah. All right. Like in 2009, they had 30,000 servers. Now they have, and this is 2018. Like most large data center operators, Facebook doesn't disclose how many servers it has running in its data centers. Based on data available for total annual power draw from Facebook's data centers, 509 million kilowatt hours, and estimates Facebook's average data center power uses 58 megawatts of power. He then applies Facebook's published power usage effectiveness at 1.07 and concludes the social network is delivering 54.27 megawatts to servers and divides that power by the usage. That works out to about 180,000 servers at 300 watts per server. So they, Facebook itself has online and is constantly running 180 servers. And this is an old figure too. This is 3 years ago. So it's obviously expanded since then, especially with the number of servers they're going to need for the AI and the VR stuff that they're doing. Yeah. So you use a free service. Facebook is free. Twitter is free. All these sites are free. So the way they're going to pay for them is advertising. It's the only way they can pay for them. None of them can be free. None of them could possibly run free unless you would have a government service, which, no one technically has, but China and Russia and arguably Saudi Arabia and certainly North Korea have internalized government-run social networks that they both control and police. So, 180 servers, I can't get anyone to serve me anything. 180,000 servers, which is why some of us have problems some nights, days, and some don't. Yeah, well, you're interacting with different servers all the time. Every time you log on, you're not necessarily going to the same place. It's bouncing your stuff all over that. Yay! Shoot 'em up. Thank you for the 13-month subiversary. Yay! Thank you. Hold on. I have to break this over here. Did I put this on there? I think I did. Yeah, I did. Good. Yay. Excellent. Thank you for that. So I don't mind the fact that they use advertising. I mean, YouTube has to do it too. Facebook's got to do it somehow. It's not a free service. It cannot. Yeah, I know. 25.5K. We're getting to that 26,000 number way faster. That's what I told you. Once we hit the 25,000 number, the numbers start to come faster because of the algorithm, and I appreciate that. Also doesn't hurt that I'm doing a morning show and adding, I'm putting more hours on the board, so that helps people find the show while it's live, people who are interested. And hi, everybody. I'm Hal Sparks. I have a show called Hal Sparks Megaworldwide every afternoon on Twitch and YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and wherever your favorite digital platform is within reason. I'm not going to be on the Russian VK site anytime soon. I tried it for a little while. It was very weird. Morning, EO. How you doing? I can't resubmit until partway through. Always later. Oh, and yeah, let's see. I'm sorry. The chat is blazing by today. Good morning, everybody in the chat. Facebook has been acting up. They're just cleaning stuff out. Welcome our new patron. We got 717. We seem to bounce around in the 700 area, never really cresting past that 800. Fingers crossed we'll get there one day. You can do it monthly or you can do it in one fell swoop yearly now. You can be an annual subscriber on there. That helps. But that's up to you to do or to not to do. Also, Super Chat's a great way to support the show. And that's why everybody, when, people who do live shows on Facebook and other places, they kind of have to do their own advertising. It kind of reminds me of like old radio where they'd sell Chesterfields in the middle of the show, and it was the main character would often read the thing because they had to pay everybody. The way they did that was advertising. That has not changed. And there's no particular reason why it should. It's a reasonable way to do it. You don't have to click on ads. You're not being hypnotized by ads. People are becoming hipper and wiser about ads. with the exception of the Q folks, which seem to be on some sort of like tractor beam that everything they see in that realm instantly convinces them. Hi, Matt. Good morning. Hi, Garrett. Welcome. Did the patches go out yet? Some have gone out, some continue to go out, and others have not gone out yet. There's a lot of them. So many people, by the way, if you ever see me at a live event and you haven't gotten your patch, you can ask me for one because I will carry some with me. It's the easiest way to get them to people personally. Other people will get theirs mailed through. There was a big delay on them too because the company I like get them made through was basically shut down during all of COVID. So yeah, I have Neem. I think I missed my sub-anniversary of 10, 11 months. Well, yay, Baba Dozer. Deba Dozer? Deba Dozer? Deba Dozer. Deba? It's purple on my screen against a blue background, so I can't, it caught me, it took me a second to read it. I should look over here to the Twitch realm where that chat is firing away on all cylinders. And welcome, let me, I always forget to do this when I'm doing the Hangout. And by the way, I keep having to stir my BCA beverage because there's a lot of sediment. Was I a comic book fan when I was a kid? Yes, I still am. Want to see what I got for my birthday as a comic book gift from here? Hold on, I'll be right back. This was a gift from my girlfriend's kid. He got me a Captain America anthology that I'd been eyeballing for a while. So that's my current coffee table book downstairs when I need a break from all the stuff that I've been reading that is, vacillates through fun and depressing. So yeah. Yeah, it's good. Let's see. I remember comic books selling for like 12 cents. Is that a Deadpool mask behind me? No, it is not a mask. Let's see if this...
Hey, I feel a little lightheaded. Oh no, it's the body. Definitely the missing body. Let me be your therapist for a minute. Now, tell me, what did you dream about last night?
If I leave it on, it will do this all day.
Interesting.
Yes, I know it is.
And how does that make you feel?
Feel like I have a body.
Well, you've certainly given us both a lot to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Now get out there and act like a functioning member of society, you lovable psychopath.
Thanks. Will do. Now I'm going to put you to sleep because it's annoying when you talk all day. So, yeah. Is it USB? No. It's just by itself. Yeah. It's just battery operated. Hold on. Put my headphones back in case I want to play anything. I have original limited edition signed by the Illustrated Punisher comic. That's awesome. Have you seen the Rudy as Lincoln clip? No, I saw a still of it earlier. Is that from his site? Let's see.
Virginia, vote against the man who dishonored our past by selling my bedroom hundreds and hundreds of times to scoundrels in a pay-for-play scheme
Okay, this is him trying to. This is Rudy did a Abe Lincoln filter.
In my time, we had a name for men who sold bedrooms for one night. In your time, the name is Terry McAuliffe, and the Clinton flees once and for all.
What kind of accent? Once and for all. Is it? Are you just? Is that a Pennsylvania Dutch accent because of the beard? Once and for all. Yeah. There you go. He's so hip with the kids today. It's a time traveler accent. Yeah, he's a monster. It's silly. Netflix employees to stage walkout in wake of CEO's response to controversial Dave Chappelle special. Apparently, they did not like the story of Dave Chappelle's transgender friend who committed suicide that he talked about so lovingly at the end of the special. Apparently, that was the last straw, I guess. The eerie sounds of Mars. Ooh. Where is it? Play it. You can't. Here it is. We have to send a probe all the way to Mars to get the audio I get sometimes by forgetting to flip a switch. There it is. Chip. Sounds of Mars. Welcome, radio fans, to our latest weekly installment of the show of suspense, science fiction, and wonder, The Sounds of Mars. On this week's episode, Spaceman Astro Johnson. Sorry. It's going to get a little annoying. I'm going to run out of audio. It does sound, yeah. No, Uranus sounds very different. Here's the first known sounds. There it is. See, this is Mars. And this is Uranus. There you see, there's a difference. Mars. Okay, what techno? Yeah, there it is. That's the rover drive. We're hearing sounds of the things we're sending, but it's still cool.
NASA's Perseverance Mars rover. We have not one, but 2 microphones. And these microphones are the very first instruments of their kind ever to go to Mars. I'm Nina Lanza, and I'm a scientist at Los Alamos National Laboratory.
Hi, I'm Justin Mackey, an imaging scientist at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. One of the microphones is mounted on the mast and moves around as we point the cameras. The other microphone is mounted to the rover body, and it stays fixed onto the port side of the rover.
The 2 microphones that we sent were commercial off-the-shelf items. So these are things that you could just buy on the internet, and we put these on our rover.
There's a difference between Mars and Earth sounds. Sounds on Earth have very rich harmonics. You can hear multiple frequencies. It gives a really nice depth to the sound. On Mars, the atmosphere attenuates a lot of those higher frequencies, so you tend to hear the lower frequencies.
Lack thereof.
And it's a much more isolated sound, a little more muted than the sounds we hear on Earth. This is the sound of wind on Mars.
And listen to the sounds of silence. I'm lying next to you in Martian lucidity.
For the first time, we can hear the wind blowing across the surface of Mars to go along with all of the images that we've acquired of dust devils and dust storms over the many years of exploration on the surface.
Amazing.
This is the sound of the rover driving on Mars.
That's weird. It's the
This sound might
wind.
be a little bit weird because it doesn't sound like a regular driving sound, but that's because
Sorry.
the rover's wheels are made of metal. So this metal is rolling over rocks and sand, and it makes this really clanky, squeaky sound. This is one of my absolute favorite sounds. This is the sound of a helicopter flying on Mars. We used this sound to actually understand the propagation of sound in general through the Martian atmosphere. And it turns out that we were totally wrong with our models. The Martian atmosphere can propagate sound a lot further than we thought it could. We've all seen these beautiful images that we get from
This is so cool, by the way.
Mars, but having sound to be able to add to those images, it makes me feel like I'm almost right there on the surface.
Yeah, except for the whole not being able to breathe part. Lovely. Microphone. And they, yeah. Hold on. These are just, yeah, they just bought some mics and stuck them on there. Why not? If they don't work, they didn't pay much for them. That's the other thing. Let's see. Alien world under Austria's doomed glaciers tells tales of their collapse. An alien world. Well, it's not an alien. It's our own Earth. I hate this kind of languaging about stuff. Doomed glaciers tells a tale of collapse. Glaciers of the Eastern Alps have been past the point of no return, cannot be saved from melting, according to scientists. The thread. There you go. The scientists are venturing inside otherworldly ice caves growing beneath Austria's doomed glaciers. This is a horror movie waiting to happen. I mean, this is basically The Thing. Chip, what you doing? Psst. Chip. He's running around in the next room. He'll make his way in here. They would just, I don't know, it seemed like a good idea at the time to sit under the melting glacier that often comes off in giant sheets. And we were touching the bottom of it when the entire rest of my party disappeared. I heard a thump and they were gone. It's beautiful, though. The Jahrtaferner is among Austria's 30 largest glaciers and one of 10 where scientists take very precise measurements annually documenting the now irreversible decline. The alien world. It's so... Uh-oh. This is it. Okay. Are we comparing the thing? 2021 teachers. There we go. First lady team. First lady. I see they're just saying first lady doing such a thing. Billy Joel. Is it his birthday or is he? Yeah. Getting engaged while, okay, that's very sweet. Billy Joel being a rebel in 1964. That's what's going on right now. Is it? And by the way, so this is the cover of Billy Joel Glass Houses. When I was a kid, there was a record store in Frankfurt at Brighton Park Mall. It's where I got most of the Kiss records that I bought that I didn't get at the at Friendship, Indiana's flea market. And they sold at that time, there was bubble gum shaped like records in record sleeves, but they were based on real records. And I got a few of them over time, but the one that really stuck out was Billy Joel Glass Houses, because it was kind of the quality of the print on it was impressive. And the back of it had like lyrics to one of the songs. I'm blitzing on what song that was. But it was like so I very distinctly remember how could things go so wrong. That's just rude. I very distinctly remember eating the bubblegum record and upsetting my sister because you were supposed to keep it. I'm like, why would you keep it? It's just everything. Yeah. Collector gum is the worst candy. Yeah, because people keep it. Like, it was fresh. So I chewed the bubblegum. I admit it. My sister was so pissed at me. Volcanic activity raises Japanese ghost ship sunk during World War II from the deep. Whoa. Japanese ship sunk by the U.S. during World War II have reappeared after a seismic shift. That's not fucking creepy or anything. Holy hell. Jesus. Hold on. No. In the Chain Islands due south of Tokyo has left a number of ships sunk as part of a bloody U.S. assault on Iwo Jima in spring of 1945, high and dry. Wow. 24 Japanese transport vessels captured by the U.S. Navy in the closing stage of World War II and deliberately scuttled off. Okay, so they didn't just sink them with everybody on them. These weren't battleships. They captured the people, got them off, and then sunk the ships so they couldn't use them. I see. There are no civilian residents of Iwo Jima. A result of vast amounts of unexploded munitions still litter the 8-square-mile island, meaning there are no plans to remove them. Marco Rubio. Good Lord. Government paying $300 per child every month not to work is socialism? No. The socialism would be building places where you sent your kids. Socialism is, you have to actually manufacture as a government the places where people go instead of giving them the money. By giving them $300, that's capitalism. That's just taxation directed at underprivileged people to kind of make sure that every citizen has a decent standard of living so that we can all benefit from being citizens of the United States. So giving people $300 and saying, spend it how you like, it's for your kid, but that's the risk of capitalism. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. And the radical left is just one Senate comrade away from making it the law. Senate comrade. Fuck off. Val Deming supports Barney and Biden's $3 trillion proposal. Liberal wish. Let's see what's in it. This is his ad against it. Green New Deal. Tax hikes for Florida small businesses. No. Amnesty for illegal immigrants. You mean DACA, which you support? Taxpayer-funded abortion. No. That's too radical for moderates. Demings wants to move full steam ahead. Does this just loop? Yeah, it does. Okay. What's the difference? Val Demings is turning her back on Biden and turning towards Bernie. Is that what we're supposed to take away from that? Yeah. Paying $300 per child every month not to work. So, I guess Marco Rubio boldly comes out in favor of child labor, right? Is that what we're taking from this? So Marco Rubio, this kind of jumps up here. Boldly comes out in favor of child labor. Hashtag thirsty for change. All right, there we go. I don't know, just being a jerk. What are you doing? There we go. Tweet. There you go. And comedy. Yes, are there no workhouses for these children? Condoleezza Rice on The View, talking about Colin Powell, more than likely. Intense rainstorms could dampen fall wildfire risk in parts of California. Guys, nature does this. If you've lived in California long enough, we go drought, heavy storm, drought. It's basically drought, fire, heavy storm, drought, fire, heavy storm. Like this has been happening as long as I've lived in California. It's just a natural part of it. And the more extreme it gets because of climate change, it's going to just be a more drastic version. Unexpected ally for California after nasty fire season, rain. It's not unexpected. It happens every fucking time. And the devastating summer of wildfires are not all wildfires. A shit ton of those are arson. They've literally arrested people. Multiple, okay, hold on one second. I'll end up finding this person in here. Let's see. Yeah, here you go. Is climate change a problem? Absolutely. However, this is also a big part of it. Yes, we have a dry season, but it does not help that a former college professor set several fires in California over the last fire season. Firefighters battling the Dixie Fire have also been facing a second enemy, a serial arsonist who went on a spree of setting fires in July and August, and who sought to trap fire crews with his fires, according to agents from the U.S. Forest Service. They allege former college professor Gary Maynard is the culprit, citing their tracking of his movements and other evidence. Where Maynard went, fire started, not just once, but over and over again. A judge agreed to the request during a brief history. They were denying him bail, saying there are no conditions or combination of conditions that would provide the necessary level of safety to this community should this defendant be released. Based on that finding, the defendant will be detained at a risk of non-appearance and a danger to the community. This is, by the way, look for this one showing up more and more with gun violence, because it's one of the things that a lot of DAs are just not considering. And you got a lot of people who are committing murder, in the murder spike that's been happening, who are literally out on bond for other felony charges that are violent. Yeah. Maynard's next court appearance is August 24th. This was a few weeks ago. Or like a month and a half ago. He's connected with more than a half a dozen dangerous fires in Northern California. He's currently charged with starting only the ranch fire. That blaze broke out on Saturday morning in a remote area where, according to court records, Maynard had just camped for the night. It's one of 3 fires that he set in recent days. He entered the evacuation zone and began setting fires behind the first responders fighting the Dixie Fire. Maynard's fires were placed in the perfect position to increase the risk of firefighters being trapped between fires. His alleged offenses show that he is particularly dangerous even among arsonists. He was trying to murder firefighters. If it weren't for the surveillance federal agents were conducting on Maynard, the fires would have gotten much worse and the risk of firefighters would have been greater. He was identified after his car got stuck near a fire. He taught, here it is. Last fall, he taught in the Criminology and Criminal Justice Department at Sonoma State University, which says in its official bio that he has a doctorate in sociology and 3 master's degree. It sounds like he has the same qualifications as the Unabomber. His teaching and research schools had focused on topics include the sociology of health, deviance, and crime, and environmental sociology. Maynard also has connections to other schools, Stony Brook University in New York, where he received his doctorate, to Santa Clara University, where he also taught. On July 20th, he was spotted near the scene of the Cascade Fire on the western slopes of Mount Shasta. A mountain biker in those remote woods had noticed signs of a fire, called 911, and then, "Hi, Chip, what's happening?" He's walking around. "Hi, buddy. What's going on?" Hold on. He's come by to say hi. He's already purring. "Hi, buddy." They want to say hi. "It's Chip. It's Chip. It's Chip. 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 It's Chip. 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 Hi. What's up, sleepy boy? Sleepy, sleepy little boy. It's sleepy, sleepy, sleepy Chip. Mm-hmm. You okay? You purring like a monster. This must be okay. Oh. Chip needs an emote. That's a good idea. I'll have to take a picture of his face. There you go, buddy. There you go. I'll have to I'll take a picture of his face and I'll have to make one. Yeah, he's getting long. He's getting big. Look at this little guy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now he just wants to hang out. Oh, I'm glad you're fostering a puppy. That's really sweet. Yeah, foster fails are, yeah. Stop the show. Chip's here. Yes, the morning show grinds to a halt when Chip shows up. There he is. Hi, hello. Loving audience, it's Chip. He's getting so big so fast and he's eating everything. Yes, you are busted. You are a busted little kitty. He's falling asleep on my shoulder and then he's like, do you want to sit in my lap so I can continue the show? Can I move you down to the lap or will that be too much of a disruption? Here, hold on. There you go. I'm sorry. I wish I had a bigger lap, but I don't. There you go. Yeah. He's just laying down. He just wants to lay down and be petted. He's literally sitting. He's just right there. He's laying out long ways. Yeah. He is a lap kitty. And he's like, I don't get it. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know all this noise. I don't know what's happening. Why are you not loving on me? Why you get up these mornings and run off to the gym and do all these things and leave me alone? It's just so sad. Hi. Can you guys hear that? Yeah, he totally chose me. Yeah. Yeah, he's just stretched out in my lap. Can you take Chip as a cat deduction? Right, yes. Now I can write him off because he's part of the show now. Is he a show cat? Yeah? Yeah. Hi, buddy. I know. He's so cute. Yep. You forgot Molly, Suze. It's Molly, Murphy, and Maddie, and Chip and Chud. And Chip came with a name, so I didn't do the alliteration. Just saying, for the record. Yeah. There it goes. Just chill out. There we go. Chip Sparks, yeah. Now I have to keep my legs pressed together so because he's laying right between my legs on, kind of long ways. If I open my legs up, he'll just fall, and he's just starting to doze off. So it's good. It's like morning crunches a little bit. It's fun. All right, where were we? Oh yes, fires. Hi, buddy. So this dude, by the way, Manson cooperative activity, took pictures of his car, license plate number, led to Maynard. Forest agents also measured recorded data about the tire tread left by him. There we go. There's the complaint against him. Evidence, they say, ties him to a string of arson wildfires. He made purchases at a Safeway in Fortuna along the coast a week later at a Safeway store in Susanville. He's just basically driving across the state doing that. Since Maynard's car was registered in San Jose, Bolin also contacted the San Jose Police Department, which passed along a 2020 warning from a colleague who had reported her concern for Maynard's well-being, citing a severe mental health crisis. Police agency shared Maynard's cell phone number, which was later confirmed to be linked to his EBT account. So he was using his stimulus money to set wildfires and attempt to murder firemen. That's good. That's that's UI. That's what he was using. Part of an arson setting spree that connected to him a string of wildfires in Northern California as early as the Bradley fire that destroyed over 300 acres on July 11th, possibly as well the Sweetbriar fire on July 6th. Most of those blazes struck the Mount Shasta area northwest of the Lassen National Forest, where the Dixie Fire is still raging. In recent days, he set numerous fires in the Lassen area, part of an arson setting spree. And he's not alone. Yeah, he was using his stimmy for arson. Yeah. Maynard denies starting him, of course, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. And, sorry. Later, a deputy told him that a federal arson, he was in jail on a charge of violating state law that forbids entering a closed emergency area. Later Saturday, a deputy told him that a federal felony arson charge was added. He insisted that he was innocent. I'm going to kill you, fucking pig. I told those fuckers I didn't start any of those fires. Well, this part doesn't, that's not gonna bode well. P.S. If the use of the word pig by this dude kind of singles out his political slant in some ways, unfortunately. And Moonfire, Rancho Vegano, yeah. I mean, and then there was another woman who did it as well. So yeah. We do have a dry brush problem, but you're talking about 20 fires, including the big ones, possibly set by the same person. Soon to be a Netflix doc, of course. And his age, who calls police pigs anymore? Old hippies. And Colin Kaepernick. I don't think he called them pigs. He just wore pig socks. That's where Kaepernick lost me. Was wearing a pig socks. Yeah, does he have blue hair? There was another one too. Arson. I want to see. It might not have been a California one. Yeah. Then there's another one. He wasn't alone. Former yoga teacher accused of arson in destructive California blaze. Alexandra Suverneva. Could she be a Russian mole? We do not know. Has pleaded not guilty to felony arson. Her attorney has said no evidence has been presented to the contrary. Let's see. Authorities in Northern California last week announced the arrest of a woman who they say ignited a wind-whipped wildfire that quickly tore through steep, rugged terrain, destroying 144 buildings, prompting the evacuation of thousands of people, and becoming one of the state's most destructive blazes this year. Alexandra Suverneva, a one-time yoga teacher from the San Francisco Bay Area, whom a former colleague recalled as brilliant, is among more than 100 people who have been accused of wildland arson and arrested this year in California. The charge is a rare but significant act has come across 100. Jesus. Number of arrests for wildfires. They dipped in 2018. That's good news. Well, the arrests, anyways. 121 people arrested for arson. Good times. But tell me again how it's lightning and we're not paying attention to the environmental stuff. The state can do all at once. The federal government can do stuff in wildlife preserves and the like. But if you got 121 people running around setting fires, yeah. The charge alleges a rare but significant act that has come into sharp focus as parched, overgrown forests explode across thousands of acres in days. It's difficult to grasp when disaster like this apparently is not a natural disaster, but we have a suspect, and this might be an arson case. She's pled not guilty. Wildfires are usually accidental, ignited by damaged power lines, vehicles, and logging equipment. A retired arson investigator with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department and a co-author of Arson Investigation in the Wildlands. While most wildfire agencies attribute about 10% of blazes to arson, Nordskog said the real number could be twice as high, a result of decades of officials prioritizing suppression over investigations. If you don't send an investigator, you don't have arson. They literally have the power of an atomic bomb at their fingertips. They can burn an entire town down if the conditions are right. In 2006, for instance, a wind-driven blaze burned across 40,000 acres in Southern California, destroying dozens of homes and killing 5 firefighters. Raymond Euler, a mechanic from Riverside County, was convicted of arson and murder and sentenced to death. In 2008, a former volunteer firefighter from Northern California, Robert Eason, was convicted of setting a dozen fires north of Sacramento, including one that burned 1,000 acres and killed 200 sheep. Investigators said Eason used a sophisticated time delay device to ignite the fires. Unlike urban arsonists whose ages, genders, and races vary, wildland arsonists tend to be middle-aged men, said Norskog, who also wrote the arsonist profiles analyzing arson motives and behavior. Although lighters and matches are the preferred methods of ignition, some people like Eason use time delay devices such as matches wrapped around a cigarette. When they burst into flames, they're 7 to 15 miles away. Although some arsonists act for thrills, anger, frustration, and mental illness are more common motives. Just as common is how daunting the investigation can be. They're often in remote areas, while ignition points could be devastated as firefighters work to extinguish the blazes. She was hiking in Canada and tried to boil water that she found in a puddle. Her attempts failed, the report said, but she drank the water anyway. She believed it was mixed with bear urine, then walked uphill, saw smoke and airplanes dropping pink stuff. So Vernon was taken into custody on suspicion of arson. She's drinking bear piss while camping, and yeah. I thought she was an idealistic kid. She was into conservation and forests. Yeah, a lot of these people are angry hippies or anti-government activists when they end up doing it. And they'll call it mental illness because it's based around conspiracy theories and the like. So, yeah, there's a tendency to just kind of like leave this all in the lap of, of climate change and the like. But in reality, a lot of the damage that we're saying is climate change, we're writing off as climate change is exactly the effect of human intervention to make it worse. And in a lot of cases, those folks end up being like climate extremists who think that other people aren't taking it seriously enough, so they decide they'll edge people in that direction. Senate Republicans are expected to, again, block action on voting rights legislation. Yeah. Hi, buddy. What are you doing? The supply chain crisis is coming for our pizzas. Dear God, we're going to hear about this on Glenn Beck's show today, aren't we? There's no one to deliver the pizzas. Domino's posted its first decline in U.S. same-store sales in more than a decade because it can't find enough delivery drivers. That's a supply chain problem? Well, that's because Domino's has its own delivery group, and most people are shifting to Grubhub and Postmates and like Loca, which is the one here in Vegas. Watch for Domino's to start. Hold on, I'll show you this. Watch for Domino's to start using drones to deliver pizza. Yes, and it's because Domino's pays shit. They also they often operate in areas where the pay is very low, and in some cases it's very dangerous. Been lots of stories of like Domino's drivers being murdered. So they just leave it to the Uber people. National average delivery time abruptly and surprisingly spiked 30%. That's because they lose money if they're late. Their whole thing is based on 30 minutes or less. No one else is doing that. I mean, they should drop the 30 minutes or it's free, thing entirely. Or limit very specifically where it goes to. And that is not a Domino's pizza. I don't know what the fuck that is. That's not what that's some sort of rustic deep dish pizza thing. This isn't either. This is deep dish pizza from a sit-down restaurant. What? There's no one to deliver the pizzas. Look at this sentence. The fuck is wrong with you? There's no one to deliver the pizzas. Talk about first world problems. That looks like that's a Domino's. That's what it actually looks like. When's the last time everybody on here had pizza? When's the last time? Yeah, that did look like Pizzeria Uno's. It's making me crave deep dish when I go to Chicago this weekend. By the way, when I do Sexy Liberal this weekend, I arrive Friday night in Madison, and then I'm going to, in the morning, I'm driving down to Chicago to do my radio show, and then I turn around and come right back for the show. Yesterday, 2 weeks ago, last Thursday. Wait, hi, buddy. He's just sitting here. It's so cute. And then hashtag I will not comply. Good Lord. No, you cannot push the keyboard, silly. You cannot. That's not how it works. Hi. Are you a monster? You just do not care. Just does not. He's just sleepy. He just ate a bunch and he's growing. So he's just exhausted. You're so tired. Look at that. Look at that. He just. Hold on. I got it. Whoops. Hold on. This guy. There you go. Now I'm just stuck. Now this is the whole day. He's like, it's like I have gout. I have kitty gout. Nice, yeah. Then he wakes up. I'm sorry, you eating my hair now? Look at this leg just flop. There's a lot of this, this, I will not comply. What's this? List of employers not required of employees to get vaccinated. The White House. Yes, they are. All federal workers. The CDC, all federal workers. The FDA, all federal workers. The WHO is not a company. It's a world organization. So, and I'm assuming they absolutely do. Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson. Wake up! Hold on. This is what I was looking at. This is the thing. List of employers not requiring their employees to get vaccinated. All federal workers have to get vaccinated. This is past. We've been dealing with this it's fucking dumb. Wake up. Why are you biting my arm now? You were cozy a second ago, and now you're chewing on me. Am I delicious? Is that what's happening? Did you not get enough to eat? Pitiful. This little guy. People aren't actually bothered by you not wearing a mask. It was such a big deal, they would stay away from you. They're bothered that you're disobedient They are bothered that your strength shines a light on their weakness. And what's this like, dude? And then, oh, they have the clown emoji over the letter in mask. Good morning, Patriots. From Nancy MAGA Monkey, which I'm sure is a totally real account. Third generation USC alum. The beach. She lives at the beach in SoCal. Joined in 2018. I just saw a woman walking a dog who was also masked. Cruelty to animals is intolerable. No, you did not. I mean, this is just like a meme account. This is what a bot looks like. Yeah, they just post stuff. This is Patriots are out there with their flags, y'all. Don't look for a princess in need of saving. Search for a queen willing to fight by your side. Well, I mean, yeah, this is, is that, I see. This is AOC crying at empty shelves. This is a meme account. This is what the, like the hacker farms do for a living. They just post this shit all day. Oh, this is the guy quitting. Yeah, that's right. So, yeah. It's blackmail. It's sinister. It's wrong. I will not comply. A choice is, would you like tea or coffee? Not, would you like to be a part of a medical trial to keep your job? That is blackmail. Well, you could also get tested once a week. You do realize you could just get tested once a week. And it's FDA approved. Huh? What? What do you want? What? I'm sorry. What's happening? What you making noise about? Do you want some more pets or something? What happened? Suddenly you were just, was I ignoring you? What's going on? You need the scratches. He just decided. Yeah, there's a bunch of, in Europe, there's a bunch of anti-mask and anti-vaccine marches and stuff going on. Largely because they're getting the same disinfo from the same, posting farms that we get. Just they just target certain people, and those people exist in every country. Same thing.
This son of a bitch safety man came in here and told us we all had to get the fucking vaccine or we were all going to be fired. You know what we all did? We all grabbed our shit and started heading to the fucking gate and told them, kiss our fucking ass. You can have this job. You can take it and shove it.
Well, you do realize without the extended UI, you don't get unemployment insurance when you quit. Just so you know.
And you know what? Before we got to the gate, they came and told us, never mind, you ain't got to get it. That's right. You stand together, they can't take your dignity, your job, your pride. Don't be no...
I'm gonna go with bullshit. Never happened. Yeah. Early vaccine success, why we have the highest case rate in the world. Fucking clown. What? Read what right? French brothers supporting Italy shouting freedom in Italian. Pray for Italy, we stand with you. Vaccine man. It's trending in the UK. Why didn't this happen anywhere else in the world? What? What, the guy dropping dead from COVID? Was that the idea? Well, it's certainly, by the way, a lot of this, a lot of the like proud I will not comply shit is a lot easier when the rest of the country has gotten vaccinated or has herd immunity from having gotten it, and you're just protected by that bubble. So you can go, I'm not afraid. Meanwhile,
mRNA vaccine, highly effective, extraordinarily efficacious, 94 to 95% for mild to moderate disease, and virtually 100% efficacious. Because the real world effectiveness is even more impressive than the results of the clinical trial.
By the way, these are the same people who want you to think that most of the people who died of COVID died of something else attached to it anyways. But anybody who dies with COVID who was like 84 fighting myeloma and multiple sclerosis, I think it was, that no, Parkinson's disease, that Colin Powell had, that it's 100% the vaccine that killed them. I love how they're making this a countdown. Pay attention to this. AstraZeneca says COVID. Hold on. Let's see if where was the one they just showed? In pregnancy, 79 effective, no increased risk of U.S. trial. That's a U.S. trial. So they're taking the data from the beginning of it when they were just finding out, and they were increasing how effective they found it to be, and then they're pretending like it's counting down. They're reversing the order of the stories. And they're also picking stuff like Moderna's effectiveness against hospitalization held steady over a 4-month period, while Pfizer's fell from 91 to 77%. This reach is still limited, and more data is needed. Okay, 76 effective in new March. March 24th. New study found that after 5 months, prepares to roll out boosters. Right, waiting on approval. Original dose is only 71%. This is 4 days ago. It's 4 days ago. 10 months ago. Provide 69% against Singapore against the infection by the Delta variant. 60%. And by the way, the virus, this one, against infection by Delta variant. The rest of it would be mild illness, hospitalization, and death, which is really what it protects you against. But they're not leaving that out. They're just saying you can get it or you can't get it, according to the Singapore study. First DNA COVID vaccine found 67% in clinical trials. July 1st, first DNA COVID vaccine found. This is a different thing altogether. Against Delta variant. Pfizer vaccine protection against infection declines to 64% in Israel. Moderna vaccine trials in their candidates also have 62% efficacy when one full dose is given, followed by another full dose. And that's AstraZeneca, right? So they'll take the Pfizer one and the Moderna ones, which are doing really well, and then they'll go, oh, the countdown, the other one's not working or working less with certain people or in certain circumstances, means it counts down less. But then they play music and it goes all the way down to it doesn't work at all. And then is that good enough? September 14th, 2020. There you go. See what I mean? See how they're doing the countdown and then the order of the stories? This is from last year. The mRNA COVID vaccine was only effective at the question mark. Where's that from? A large observational real study from Israel estimates Pfizer BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine is 46% 14 to 20 days. What? 14 to 20 days after getting, yeah. Don't show the rest of it. It's Delta, Pfizer, 42%. COVID in development, U.S. drug makers may not be as effective against Delta variant as thought. This is August 12th, 2021. Israel research claims Pfizer shot in only 41% against Delta strain. Let's see what the current news says it is. Hold on one second. Let me grab a fresh screen. New window. Let's do the Pfizer against Delta variant. Yeah, this is from Healthline. After 2 doses, Pfizer and BioNTech has an 88% effectiveness against symptomatic disease from the Delta variant. The tragedy is that the vaccines work essentially every hospitalization, death, and admission to the intensive care unit is preventable if people get vaccinated. Here's how well the COVID-19 vaccines work against the Delta variant. Coronavirus infection caused by Delta variant, which has surged since July, now make up 99% of all new coronavirus infections. An increase in hospitalization. Although vaccine effectiveness has waned slightly against infection with Delta, data so far suggests that Moderna is approximately 50 to 95% effective against Delta, and the Pfizer-BioNTech is 39 to 96% effective against Delta. Even though vaccines offer different ranges of protection, real-world evaluations show that they still provide robust protection against hospitalization at 60 to 95%. This is just getting it, the possibility that you could get it and carry it. The vaccines are not stopping people from carrying Delta, but they're stopping people from going to the hospital for it. Let's see. It was confirmed in the United States in May. Highly infectious variant was identified in India. Let's see. COVID-19 cases quickly rise again. The average number of daily COVID-19 cases is more than 145,000. What we know about it, 60% more transmissible than the Alpha variant, which could explain the rapid rise in cases. Leaked CDC internal report said Delta variant was much more contagious than the common cold, the Spanish flu, and severe acute respiratory syndrome, and may be as transmissible as chickenpox. Are 1,000 times higher than those caused by previous coronavirus variants. The viral loads from the Chinese Academy of Medical Sciences in a study in Scotland found the Delta variant was twice as likely to lead to hospitalization. And yet still, if you're vaccinated, 60 to 95% effective. People also became more acutely ill with the Delta-driven infections. Areas with low vaccination rates in the United States have been seeing more significant surges in infections. The latest situation in hotspots, Arkansas, Florida, Texas, attest to this. Vaccines versus it. That's why they're suggesting a booster shot for people who are in danger. So there you go. Oh, hold on. Not so fast there, buddy. Pfizer's COVID vaccine efficacy against infection plunges just 20% after 6 months, but protection against severe illness barely dips. Study concludes. So you can get it and carry it because of Delta, but you're not going to go to the hospital and you're not going to die with the vaccine. This part is the part that they seem to be missing. For some people but for some, and by the way, this is more about news stories than it is about the science. Israel vaccine passport now expires after 6 months. Boosters required. Sorry. Fauci says what? Fauci says U.S. going in the wrong direction, may need boosters. 7/25/21. By the way, they're tying stories together. Breakthrough data outlines need for booster. Right.
Clarify that with people.
And approved as boosters, right?
It has nothing to do with whether or not it's effective. We know it's highly effective.
I said halt to Moderna got a COVID and many concerns over heart inflammation rate. October 21. So halts use of Moderna, right? Hold on. Halts Pfizer BioNTech COVID vaccine investigates packaging. I see. U.S. halts Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine shipments. That was, June 10th. Again, they're acting like this is all going in one direction. UK halts AstraZeneca on kids amid blood clot concerns, right? And then they restarted it. South Africa halts vaccine rollout. And then this is the COVID-19 injectability in Big Pharma made its executives very, very rich. Forbes digital covers. From Pfizer, Moderna, who's making billions from... Okay, so this is the idea that you're supposed to believe that that the rich are poisoning you, and it doesn't even work, and your sheep and the Illuminati George Soros pentablet are coming after you. Vaccine maker earned record profits but delivered disappointment in return. Is that BioSolutions? This was last year. This was under Trump. Global billionaire pandemic wealth gain surged to 5.5 trillion. That's Bezos. Bezos is just making money because more people were ordering stuff at home, so Amazon made more money. Post profits for the first time. COVID vaccines drive record profits. CEOs get ultra rich off massive pay package, questionable stock trades. This is big pharma news, 5/12/21. Big pharma CEOs are making millions of COVID vaccines, raising concerns over massive pay packages, questionable stock sales, and windfall profits made possible by taxpayer funding. Right, that's not about the efficacy of the vaccine, unless you just assume they're going to murder you. Leads to Moderna's first profitable quarter, God forbid. Pfizer boasts $4.9 billion first quarter profit as vaccine strategy pays off. You mean making one that works? Stunning study reveals how ineffective Pfizer vaccine actually is. If that's not a wake-up call, I don't know what is. Let's see. We have to find that whole article, and you can't just throw it. Stunning study reveals how ineffective Pfizer vaccine really is. Let's see where this is. September 1st, 21, earlier than found by stunning study reveals is this Citizens Journal? I'm trying to find that actual one. When Pfizer's COVID. Let's see. I think this is the closest thing. This is Citizens Journal, real news from Ventura County in Oxnard, in the area. Stunning study reveals how ineffective Pfizer vaccine actually is. Yeah, that's where they grabbed it from. They got this from citizensjournal.us. Greg Alba wrote it August 12th. That's this dude. A new study by the Mayo Clinic found the Pfizer vaccine was only 42% effective against infection in July in the clinic's home state of Minnesota when the Delta variant became dominant. If that's not a wake-up call, I don't know what is. A senior Biden official told Axios. Now, let's see if a wake-up call for boosters or what have you. We'll see what that full context is. The study, conducted jointly with the biomedical software company Inference, made the inference, compared to the effectiveness of Pfizer and Moderna vaccines in the Mayo Clinic health system from January to July. Over the time period, Pfizer's vaccine was 76% against infection, but with the spread of Delta, its effectiveness dropped to 42% during that month. Moderna was 86% and dropped over the January to July. But the vaccine's effectiveness against infection dropped sharply in July when the Delta variant's prevalence had risen to over 70%. Moderna is 76% effective against infection. Pfizer's only 42% against getting and carrying the Delta variant. Now, risk of infection, biotech statements, expect the able to develop tailor-made vaccines, right? Based on the data, the combination of both the vaccines is most likely, very likely, more effective in the Pfizer against Delta as the dominant strain, and the Pfizer vaccine appears to have a lower durability of effectiveness. This kind of surprising finding that there's no way of stopping the virus. That's the sales point on this guy. Reported the experts call for an end of mass testing so Britain can start, and again, then we're moving to England. Let's see. Thomas Massey. Pfizer's trial data showed no efficacy of the vaccine for those with evidence of prior infection. FDA published 8 months ago. The political scientists and CDC are trying to show otherwise by contriving studies that FDA would laugh out of the room if it approval. If I'm reading this right, there's no evidence in the Pfizer vaccine trial to suggest that those with prior infection benefited from the vaccine when evaluated in the trials. This is whether or not you need the vaccine when you've already had it, getting vaccinated afterwards. And that's a moving debate right now. It still has nothing to do with the top of this. And by the way, effective against what? Because infection in terms of Delta, it dropped in efficacy. Still don't go to the hospital. You still don't end up carrying it because the Delta variant is much more easily spread. But you're not going to die from it, which would be the part most people are concerned about. One would think. But anyways, that's where they got this one from. Let's see, Greg. Let's see. Added by Greg. This is Greg's other articles. Harvard trained the people overseeing China's genocide camps. Triumph of the elites. Disgraced former FBI director Andrew McCabe was fired. Concluded he lied to federal investigators about leaking classified information. Now seems to be less in the business of justice, more in the business of political targeting and rewarding, and blah, blah, blah. Truck company dumps empty shipping containers on suburban streets near clogged California ports. January 6th committee clears way for Steve Bannon to be held in contempt charge to face criminal charges. America is becoming more dependent on foreign oil under Biden. Unvaxxed state trooper signs off for last time. Governor can kiss my ass. Ex-New York Times editor to CNN, your censorship is causing the world to go mad. Parents portrayed as terrorists sparks serious action. Well, no, just the ones who are threatening people's lives. Just unconscionable. Parents protest outside the Justice Department against domestic terrorist label. Did these folks get it? I guess the people who got a domestic terrorist label would be the ones that should protest. English teachers high school to hold drag ball halftime show to let boys express an effeminate side. This is a book. Let's see. Last Call America, fiction or forecast? In a devastated America, life has become brutal for the citizens who are living under martial law. The government has been dismantled and is now being run by a Homeland Security Department. The entire United States military is also under Homeland Security's control. American citizens are being herded into major cities, striped of their rights. They're striped of their rights. That happens. And forced to work in factories. An unlikely pair will forge an uneasy bond, first out of necessity, then out of a drive to win back all that has been lost. That cold New England morning, Captain Jason Poole only wanted a hot cup of coffee, while Rebecca Saunders just wanted the armed officer to leave the diner her and her sister ran. Rebecca wouldn't get Poole out of her diner or out of her life, and the captain had won himself more than a cup of coffee that day. Together they would struggle to lead a nation into revolution before the last call sounded and darkness fell. So it's a semi-left-wing prepper site, but that's a good place where you got it. Okay, so the next one, what's our next one? Past vaccine disasters show why rushing a coronavirus vaccine now would be colossally stupid, citing CNN, whom they obviously think is fake news, and September 1st, 2020, which was, of course, a reference to people feeling that things were rushed because of Operation Fart Steve.
Captain's log.
There we go. I will not comply. Stand up and be counted. Pick a side. I will not comply. The free radical. 3 types of people in the world right now. I will not stop fighting for my children's future. Ostrich and guys with paintball guns. Okay. Are those jackbooted thugs? I'm not sure what these 3 derivations are, but it seems like somebody who boss saying have sex with me, you're fired is considered coercion. Yet a bot saying take the shot or you're fired is not. Well, no, because sex is not contagious. You're the 2 kids in 28 so that are. The 2 kids in 28 weeks later who fuck shit up again by this freedom rubbish. Yeah, kids, yeah. So COVID is highly contagious, spreading more than breath from mouth and nose. Wear a mask to keep your cooties in and cuties out. They knew this 100 years ago. Well, they didn't, actually. People were doing this. They were wearing these signs and telling people to wear a mask during the Spanish flu epidemic because people didn't believe in it. Because people weren't complying. Let's see. They call it Carlton. Oh boy. Gates is in bigger trouble too. That's coming up. Thompson says Americans are being lied to about January 6th. He says, okay, this is just them in committee. Update on Matt Gaetz. His buddy Joel Greenberg has so much dirt. The prosecutors have opened an entire new wings of their case. The investigation into financial crimes now includes help from Secret Service agents. There's something huge here. That's fascinating. Ooh, thread me. Did Greenberg have information on Matt Gaetz trying to buy himself a pardon from Trump? Is that why the Secret Service is now involved in the investigation? Greenberg appears to have given the feds information about the crimes totally beyond the scope of the original indictment of Greenberg, so the entire matter has snowballed. And if they hadn't indicted Gaetz yet, it may be because the new material also implicates Gaetz. Oh, it's good. This is lovely. This is just. Excuse me while I sip a beverage. By the way, hi chat room. I feel like I've been reading this whole time. How are you? Does anyone in the U.S. actually know what socialism is? Probably definition probably in the dictionary or Google. Yeah, you'd think, right? Unfortunately, socialism is caught in one of those gaps between of knowledge where people on the right are using it to demonize programs that aren't socialism, and people on the left are defending programs that aren't socialism by defending the word socialism. Socialism, the radical idea of sharing, it's not. It's distribution. It's just got the word social in it, so it sounds like, it's no more social than communism is communal. These are political systems and economic systems dreamt up when there were less than 1 billion people on the planet. What most people in the States call, both pejoratively and as a compliment, what they call socialism is actually just functional democratic representative taxation. Yeah, now they're tropes, right? It has no genuine meaning. Am I drinking egg yolks? No, I'm drinking a BCAA drink. I'll drink egg yolks if you want to see it. Emily Blunt is trending, which is always good. I hope she's okay. Can I just say that all these we need more like powerful women characters and stuff from people, and that they haven't seen Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat, or Alien for that matter. But I mean, I'm talking about modern movies where there aren't characters. Like, well, then watch the fucking movies that come out that do have them. It's so aggravating. She's so amazing in Live, Die, Repeat. I love that fucking movie. Yes, Edge of Tomorrow. I love Edge of Tomorrow. It's amazing. Why are Cubans so scared of socialism? Because socialism in its material form, when it's really applied, is a road to communism, and they've been under communist control and they've lived through it, and it's awful. It's basically just a way that dictators and authoritarians can take over a system. Because humans are human. You are not going to come up with a system better than democracy for figuring out the differences between people and helping them live together. You're just not. Bernie is the GOAT. Can we get, let's see. I just have to do this for me. Hold on. Has everybody seen Edge of Tomorrow? Have you guys seen that? I mean, for God's sake. Let's see. I'll just do images. I mean, come on. She's fantastic. I mean, look at this outfit, for Christ's sake. She's awesome in this. I mean, she kills aliens with a sword made out of a helicopter blade. I mean, come on. Bill Paxton was lovely in it. It was one of his last movies. There she is doing yoga. Look at this yoga plank that's happening here. What is this happening? Friggin' fantastic in this movie. It's heartbreaking. It's terrific. You know, he learns to be a hero over the course of it. So there's a character arc for Tom Cruise that she's already been through and has adapted to it. I mean, it's Rita Verdesky as her character. She carries a fucking helicopter blade that she uses as a sword. It's fantastic. Look at this shit. It's great. And if you don't think Tom Cruise doesn't work for a living, watch the behind the scenes on this thing. It's a great movie. The story's great. The way they make it, you know, they play it out, it's fucking fantastic. It's so good. It's the best sci-fi film of the last 25 years. Hands down. Like, look at the action sequences in her where she's just fucking flying over these things in this pneumatic suit that they have to, and you're acting in this shit again. Don't talk to me about your fucking Merchant Ivory films where somebody's wearing like period clothing and we're all sipping tea and how sad the child's never returned from the winter. Try doing some real dramatic acting wearing a giant like pneumatic exoskeleton that's like part foam, part metal, might break. I mean, the part just where she says, find me when you wake up is just fucking brutal. It's so good. It's such a great movie. I insist. And even if you don't like sci-fi and you don't like movies like this, I don't want to hear any shit about nobody wanted to see the Marvel movie when they didn't go see this, where she's co-starring and she's every bit, yeah, they're wearing a 100-pound suit doing this thing. I don't think the term socialism might be used anymore. Not only is it inaccurate, but like I say, it's now been demonized. Exactly. But that's what they're trying to bait you into. That's what they try to bait people in. Libs get pissed when you properly describe socialism. Which ones? What do you mean? Yeah, David, it's an amazing movie. I'm beginning to think that there's certain groups of people who complain about like representation in films and don't watch any of the movies. So they complain about it, and then they just the movies don't get the money and recognition that they need to prove that that there's an audience for them. The edge of the younger generation. Yeah, that's because it's a label. They don't know what the fuck it actually means. Sweet to watch it tonight. I need something to get Libre out of my brain. Right. And you guys know how I feel about some of the female superhero movies, but because Wonder Woman was one of the most misogynistic movies I've seen in ages. The first one. I didn't see 1984 because, the like most of the DC Universe stuff has just been pitiful. And again, Marvel stole the Superman character by making Captain America finally work like he's supposed to, the Boy Scout character, which is great. And then they have all the real strong female characters. I mean, Black Widow, you can argue, is the bravest Avenger because she. I did like Black Widow, yes, but that's a very different distinction. That's almost a super spy movie, but I loved it. Don't get me wrong. Like that one, we went and watched it in a theater. And she's not a superhero. She's more in the kind of Batman line of things, like no special powers, right? Which makes her way braver. Like the shot. There's some real standout moments in movies when they really get something done. But when in Winter Soldier, for example, if you saw the Marvel films in Winter Soldier, where they're fighting near the bridge with all the bus gets turned over, and it's a big action sequence where Captain America first realizes it's Bucky and all that stuff. Spoiler alert. He's been knocked out into a bus, and it takes him a second to wake up. So she and Falcon are kind of distracting and fighting back as best they can until basically the big gun wakes back up. And she's great. She tricks him by putting a recording on another thing and distracts him. And then she jumps on his neck and chokes him. And then he slams her around and over a car. And as she's running away, she gets shot in the shoulder. And it's one of the best, bullet, oh my God, I've been shot moments on screen. Because she's really, trying to get people away. She's like a cop on the run, basically. She's like, clear the area. This guy's dangerous. And then she gets hit. And you can see the fear in her face. It's really, Scarlett Johansson does a fantastic, that moment is fantastic. The Alien movies, 1 and 2 are really the magic. They're still good, and Sigourney Weaver's fantastic, so. Yeah. It's not juvenile? Well, no, it's allegorical. Depends on you. The stories in the Marvel Universe are juvenile if you don't think in terms of the greater choices that people are making in these extreme circumstances. They're fun. That like any tribal story told around a fireplace. Well, horror movies, different stories have a certain purpose for societies. Horror movies, the reason we tell scary tales and why we watch scary things and why we watch scary movies is basically an attenuation of your nervous system in a shocking moment. So somebody who's seen a lot of horror movies and doesn't jump as much will have sort of a similar nervous system reaction as somebody who's like a cop or a firefighter after a while, that if your brain doesn't know the difference between what it's experiencing visually and real life for a while, and then it eventually beats you down. So you get acclimated to it. And then in a real emergency, you have a tendency not to overreact and harm yourself in that overreaction. In theory, this is the idea. And that you also make better decisions. You teach your kids that the lady down the lane, though she might be baking things that smell sweet and she might give away candy, is probably going to cook you and eat you. And it's an allegorical story you tell your kids so that they're suspicious of strangers. The original Grimm fairy tales are all stranger danger stories. And that desensitization is necessary for survival in certain circumstances. Hero stories are very specifically necessary. War stories and hero stories, for example, throughout history, that, you know, specifically focus on men fighting battles or whatever, have a very distinct, they're part of like a social training of testosterone. That most hero stories where it's man against man, it's good testosterone against bad testosterone. You are going to enter this area as a young man where testosterone starts flowing through your body, and you will be capable of great ills if you don't get it under control. And so a character is created that is an example of the overwhelming awful that testosterone can be. Most villains in that regard. And then the hero is an overwhelming example of the crafting of that testosterone to help people. Toxic masculinity versus tonic masculinity. That's what most superhero stories are for. Women, in a lot of these stories, and the way they seem to have worked out over time, have problems with team building. And so a lot of the stories end up being about teams or working together. So that's, you know, and that's what you need to, like, what society tries to, as we civilize these incivil impulses in humans, this is how we have used it over time. I love horror, guts, and gore. I'm a fan. I mean, I'm picky about what horror films I like. We watched, what was the one we watched last night? I think it was on Amazon. Was it? It's on Prime, I think. Let's see. There's a found footage horror film about the very Blair Witch, about this woman who has Alzheimer's, and it turns out she's possessed. High function autistic, I don't understand how sci-fi just doesn't hold my attention or interest. I would argue that that's an insistence on your part, or that you are looking at it how you think you should look at it. Did I watch the Chucky movies? The original ones. I watched the first two. The Chainsaw movies are so bad. Well, I mean, the real story behind them is sort of a letdown, too. I mean, Ed Gein is very scary, and he's obviously mentally ill and a dangerous character, but he was by no means the Leatherface character. It was very exaggerated. Blair Witch Project scared the crap out of me. I couldn't do it. Blair Witch Project, like, after living, I grew up in the woods, and so, like, kids who you're getting lost, you like screaming at each other about sticks and compasses. Like, just look up, follow the sun. Which way'd you walk in? What's Let's Go Brandon about? It's how they yell, fuck Joe Biden at sporting events. It's a, you know, it's a trendy little fad. I watched Communion last night because I was bored. I don't know why I was ever scared of that one. Oh, Communion, the Whitley Strieber abduction movie. It's good. Christopher Walken being anally probed. I'm going out for a pack of smokes. I watched one of the Saw movies with my friends. Yeah. Midnight Mass is good? Okay. Or The Worlds with Tom Cruise scared the heck out of me. It's good. Yeah, it actually worked out well. It's not very close to the original, but it's, you know, it's, I've always felt like War of the Worlds and those kind of disaster movies could be an endless series from point of view. And Fear of the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead have kind of embraced that idea that it happened everywhere and different groups handled it differently, you know. And now I don't even know what the fuck is going on The Walking Dead. Everybody's got these uniforms that they're making out of foam, and like I don't know why people weren't walking around in football gear and military stuff anyways. Let's see, hold on. Yeah, just looking at The Mist. I often said the binaural recording of The Mist is one of the best audiobooks you'll ever get. First Poltergeist was very good. I remember it being very gooey. Dawn of the Dead is good. I mean, again, zombie movies used to be about communism. The original ones, they're very much like Invasion of the Body Snatchers and those kind of movies, which is the idea that that you're going to be a mindless worker that eats brains, which is the seat of the soul and creativity. So they would eat your brains, these mindless workers, and they would just walk around, they become useless eaters. And that's why they moved very slowly, because they were unmotivated except by food. The audiobook was The Mist, that I mentioned. And then around, the mid 90s, we crested into this, because of riots and bloodborne illnesses, into this idea that zombies became an allegory for rioting poor people with AIDS. The fear of like society collapsing and people just eating you in general, tearing you apart, or one drop of blood turning you into one of them, turning you into a monster that could kill others, which would be the AIDS panic. And so those have become, a shift in standard of what they meant. You could argue that at least in the industrial age, the Mummy, and Frankenstein, and to some degree the Dracula, the universal monsters, including the werewolf, they would often choke you to death. So it was actually a pollution allegory. Everyone felt like they were choking to death in the cities because of the pollution. So the idea of being choked to death was one of it's weird. A werewolf with teeth chokes you to death. It's weird. The creature from the Black Lagoon chokes people. It was part of that because that was one of the fears. Everybody was having trouble breathing. You came out of it's both the industrial and the industrial age and the Spanish flu, and everybody felt like they were going to choke to death. Vampires are cool. That's the problem with vampires. They've gotten too normal. The intoxication of the curse of living forever. Understand that as sexy as vampires are, they are ice cold like a dead body. And they smell because they don't notice their own smell. So that would be one of the things that would go with, the kind of constant putrefaction of being a vampire. Soylent Green, yep. I mean, it's good that we're talking Halloween. We're talking about horror films. I have some favorites. Obviously, I love The Shining. I love the movie Martyrs. It's brutal, but it's a good one. If you're into serious, seriously awful horror, that's a good one. P2 is pretty good. It was made by the same director who did Haute Tension, the French movie, which is really great. It's also a great horror film. Never saw The Shining. Really? Yeah, The Thing. We were talking about that last night, the original one. The Time Machine from the 60s scared you? Oh, yeah, with the Morlocks. The Morlocks in that they were grotesque. Totally. Yeah. I mean, I can picture them in my head right now. Let's see. I'm trying to think of some. Yeah. Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price. It's actually surprisingly good. Yeah. I may go as Kung Fury for Halloween. I think I'm going as The Crow. Yeah. 9 from outer space. Now you're just being rude. Motel Hell. Okay. Hal Sparks on no thanks. Hal Sparks on the Martyr. Oh yeah, it's a rough one. That's a tough movie to get through. But it's a real mindfucker. The Fly, yeah, the Jeff Goldblum one. The only time I've ever yelled out in a theater like in pain, like out of seeing something that shocked me, was when he breaks the dude's arm in the bar in The Fly. Oh, my cousin and I watched it together in high school, and it comes on. We were both like, "Oh, wow!" Yeah, I could go as a circus peanut. That's just evil. I like Blade Runner 2049. I mean, I obviously don't love it as much as the original, but I enjoyed it. 2001 is my favorite horror story. Evil Hal. Well, I understand where you're coming from with that, because I
am a HAL 9000 computer.
So it's 11 o'clock. All right, I'm going to sign off. I will see you guys this afternoon for the regular show. We still have to finish Glenn Beck's docudrama about the end of everything, which is, chapter 2 of the ridiculousness. We'll get through that today, and then there's a bunch of other fun stuff that we will cover. I mean, there's plenty of footage every day. Chip, what are you doing, buddy? You guys want to see Chip before I sign off, though? Toxic Avenger. I gotta go, but hold on. I'll get Chip before I go. Hold on. Oop, I get my headphones out. Like walk away and get strangled. That's not good. Hold on. Hi, buddy. What you doing? What you doing? What did your buddy do? What are you doing? Hello. They want to say hi before we go. I know you were playing with a toy. You were playing with a toy, and then I took you away from the toy. It's a toy. It's a toy. It's a toy. You want to say bye to everybody? I know. He's like, I was playing with a toy. It's right over there on the floor. He's like, let me go get it. Let me get... Arr, 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 arr. He's going to bite my arm. Okay. All right. Here. Hop down. Fine. Hop down. They wanted to see you. He just raced right over. It was like, pow! And hit this little mouse on the ground. Yeah. All right. I'm going to sign off. I will see you guys later on this afternoon. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. You need some bunking over your butthole. I don't know. Is that his career might be over? Or it's just a tease to make people sign up for his show or some shit, which happens a lot or whatever. All right. I'll see you guys later. Take care. Hold on. I've got to, then this one's different because I have to start the music before I can actually, roll the thing because of the way it's laid out. It's just one of those things. Let's do this one. I think this one works. Yeah. Yeah. We can get out of here with this one. All right. I want you to have a nice afternoon, evening, whatever your thing is, whenever you're joining me. I want you to smooth into the day. That's what I'm going to do. All right. And I'll see you this afternoon. And I want to remind you that 80% of the scary shit you see is intentionally there to scare you into clicking on something so you go buy something. And I will never do that to you. As a matter of fact, I do the opposite. That's what I do. I do the exact opposite. I set up a situation where you guys come and go, you know, all that scary shit isn't nearly as scary as people say it is. It's going to be all right. I'll see you guys later. All right. Peace and be wild.
I like wood.
Healed and really healed.
Just the facts, ma'am.
Would you classify that as a launch problem or a design problem?
I never
thought anybody could forget so much so fast without a severe blow to the head.
This is my sister. You can all have her. I hear she's very good.
Tell him, McCluskey. Tell him what time it is.
All right. Who wants some? Who's next?
I was thinking of the immortal words of Socrates, who said, I drank what?
That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. Each one wanted to touch a different part of my body.
Q snatch.
I'd like to extend my sincere. A lot of very bad things are happening in Nicaragua.
Just follow the money.
Computer board. Am I getting through to you? Over! Walls and wheels. How, in the name of Zeus's butthole, did you get out of your cell?
I feel no shame, only pride, because my syphilis is a badge of honor.
I gotta barbecue your assy molasses! They just explode.
You are physically repulsive, intellectually retarded, vulgar, insensitive, selfish, stupid. You have no taste, a lousy sense of humor, and you smell.
Brett Kavanaugh. I had a beat off.
I called the stroker.
I like wood.
I don't know. That's the kind of thinking you've got. That's the kind of thinking you're supposed to be voting for, I guess, huh?
Transvestites.
Namely the corona.
Deeper and longer. I like wood.
Go.
I had a beat off.
I like wood.
Groovy.
Did have shade. I'm a land farmer, motherfucker.
Groovy.
Stop breaking the law, asshole!
I think you're some kind of deviated prevert.
Take off, eh? I'm your father, Luke. Give in to the dark side of the force, you knob.
It's good to be the king.
Hail to the king, baby.
I'm just a happy camper.
All I'm offering is the truth.
Did you have shade?
Soon we will leave this lame planet and fly through outer space with cool aliens who like us. It is going to be awesome! Sultan!
Sportos, motorheads, geeks, sluts, bloods, wastoids, dweebies, dickheads. They all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.